Hi, and welcome to the Food Allergy Magic Podcast, where our goal is to inspire and help you travel the world with food allergies. Hi there, this is Pixie Lizzie. I'm here with my two co hosts, and today we're going to talk about food allergies and Disney Cruise Line. Um, there's so much to discover and so much to talk about. We're just going to do an overview on it um, so that you can start thinking maybe this is actually possible. And maybe you feel comfortable with it. I know some people don't, some people do, some people it takes a couple years actually for them to feel comfortable and watch other people do it, see other posts about it. So let's start with my two co-hosts.
Hi, I'm Charity. I'm a physician assistant in allergy and immunology. I'm an agent with Platinum Mouse, and I'm also a mom of 3 kids, all with multiple severe food allergies.
And Kelly.
I'm Kelly. I'm an allergist immunologist and I'm a travel agent with Platinum Mouse. My daughter used to have peanut allergy and thankfully she's outgrown it.
Fantastic. We are so excited because next week we're sailing on the pre-inaugural Disney Treasure. Our agency, Platinum Mouse, was invited to do this pre-inaugural sailing because we help a lot of families travel Disney Cruise Line. And we need to go on and see the servers, the chefs, get to share tons and tons of information with you of the new bars, the new restaurants, all sorts of really fun stuff.
Yeah, so starting out in our news this week, we're going to highlight different cruise news, and that was one of the big topics. Was just that we will be on that pre-inaugural cruise, like Lizzie mentioned, and so with the Treasure, that's a big part of what we're going to do. So we're very excited about that. That we were invited to be on before any of our families will sail, so we can check everything out and bring you firsthand what will be offered and explore that for all of our families. So stay tuned. Follow us on social media. Other things, Disney Cruise Line in the news is that the Disney Adventure bookings are now open and their inaugural sailing will be from Singapore in December 2025. So if you are interested in that, contact your favorite Platinum Mouse agent and we can get you on board out of Singapore. So a little far away, but that looks to be just an incredible ship. Different than the current ships, but similar to the Disney Treasure and the Disney Wish is the Disney Destiny. So that looks fantastic. More villain themed. Is that correct? Is that what you'd say? That kind of is the flair of that ship. So if you haven't seen what that's all about, you should check it out. We have some different postings about that on our uh, Facebook pages and different blogs. But that inaugural sailing will be in November 2025. So that's a really neat ship. So again, contact us if you want more information, and we can get you hooked up with that. Kelly, do you have the mailbag question for us this week?
I do. So a listener has a child who does oral immunotherapy for their food allergies, and she's hesitant about sailing. She wants to know, is it even possible to do oral immunotherapy for your child aboard a cruise ship? And does anyone in the group have experience doing oral immunotherapy aboard Disney Cruise Line?
I do firsthand. And I think um, I've had probably, I would say, 20 plus clients do it. I walk them through it. The first thing that's important to know is that you talk to your allergist and make sure you feel comfortable with it. Um, and it all depends on what kind of oral immunotherapy you're doing, what what allergen it is, because I know dairy was harder for us than peanut. And dairy is very difficult, I think, for a lot of families, from what I understand. I'm not an allergist, but from what I've understood, it can be kind of tricky. Anyway, we did dairy, and we are also doing cashews and pistachios now. Um, and so my daughter takes her cashews, and she takes her little handy dandy scale and her little cups to put it in. And we take made good bars. That's her little go to carb. And she eats it beforehand. Then she does her dosing, usually about 20 to 30 minutes later. And then she does it. Um, I guess 20, 30 minutes, she's good. And then she kind of falls back to sleep. She jumps in bed with me usually because we're just the two of us cruising. And then I kind of watch her like a hawk. It's like, and then after an hour, I probably go back to sleep. She's good. We've got the whole day ahead of us. That just works for us. Everybody's different. You may have a child or however you do it and do it in the afternoon, but I like to like knock it out. But what's also real important is you really need to contact Disney Cruise Line and tell them that you're bringing these foods on board. Rather it be like baked muffins. That's a really big one. If it's a baked egg thing that they're doing or baked dairy, because they don't allow you to bring fresh, homemade baked goods, any kind of goods on the ship. They like things that are factory sealed. And there's several reasons for that. But regardless of the reasons, they really don't want that coming on the ship. So they may confiscate it and may throw it away. So you need to tell them and carry it in your carry-on bag with you. So let's say I have a client that has a child that's doing baked milk, and they're doing um, muffins, and they've got them precisely measured, and they bake them, and they have them in little baggies, and they've got maybe a scale and they measure it out, or they have a teaspoon, however they measure it. They need to bring all that and let Disney know, and I'll walk everyone through this. Let them know that your child's doing this. They need to have the container that it's coming in. They need to see how many doses they have to do a day. They want all this information. It's a lot of information, and it's really important. So I contacted Disney and said that she is doing her cashews. She's going to bring her scale. She's going to weigh them, and she has made good bars. And they shouldn't worry about those. Um, and we take them on board. I've never been asked when we go on board with her scale and her cashews, because we've sailed, I'd say maybe 4 times since she's been doing OIT with cashews, and no one's ever said anything. But you just want to be prepared because you never know. It's really not Disney that's there at the port looking at the foods and stuff. It's the port authority, kind of. So anyway, that's really important. Um, and Charity, you've done it.
Yeah, we have. We have a few times over the last few years. We've always had things that were either factory sealed or foods that we were able to take that were intact. So we didn't have any of the issues like you were talking about with home baked foods and such, but we didn't have any issues like that. We, of course, doing oral immunotherapy, you have to think about the risk that comes along with doing it. But again, it's the risk of eating food and eating out and all of that you have to think about as a food allergic family. And so we always have our medication with us and feel comfortable doing the dosing and knowing that the medical facilities are on board. And we would speak with our allergist before going on the cruise and wouldn't be close to any particular updosing. And that's a part of doing the therapy as well. So we'd always come up with a plan ahead of time to be comfortable with the dose that we're on and maybe for us minimize that risk. But we dose in the afternoon. So another thing would be just kind of thinking about activities that you're going to be doing on board or in port. And, we have active teenagers. So for us, it would be dosing, having a little snack and maybe dosing before dinner time when we'd be having a long dinner and then going to a show or kind of downtime in the evening time. So that's part of how we handle it with our kids. But yeah, we've been on multiple cruises doing oral immunotherapy. We also do sublingual immunotherapy, which that's a little easier to manage. But yeah, we have not let that stop us. We have to put a little more thought into it and take those things along with us. But it is possible. We found it very possible, and you helped talk us through how we would do that and how to keep it in our carry-ons in case there were questions and that type of thing. So
Yeah, but that's so true, and I'm really glad you touched on. Charlotte hasn't updosed in 2 weeks because we knew this was coming up, right? And she's so comfortable where she is with her dosing. Um, and I asked her today, I said, Charlotte, because she's 20 now, did you make an appointment to updose when you get back? And she goes, no, mom. And I go, you need to keep this going. Um, but yeah, it makes you feel so much more comfortable. She's been doing this dose for 2 weeks. We feel comfortable with it. Um, I think that's so smart to do the pre-planning. Another thing is when we did, an Adventure by Disney in Costa Rica, I was really scared, especially about, like, whitewater rafting. There's not an ER anywhere close by. And I told Charlotte, I really don't think you should go. And I'm going to go do this. She goes, no, mama, I'm going to do this. Why don't we talk to our allergist and get prednisone? And, have my EpiPens and I can have that if I have a reaction. And so I went and talked to our allergist and he gave us prednisone. Not every allergist may do that. They may think you're crazy, but she felt really comfortable. I'm trying to think if she did OIT. I don't think she was doing OIT then. She's still allergic to tree nuts, but she had done OIT for tree nuts, but she um, had just finished OIT for dairy. And so she was on maintenance. So we made sure she did that. But yeah, that's so true to get yourself ahead of time, like in the mode of like what you're gonna do, what can help you prepare to not have any kind of issues. And I think what you said it like hits the nail on the head. Talk to your allergist and don't updose right before.
Yeah.
Plan
Thank
ahead.
you. I think that's awesome because, like, the whole reason why we do this podcast and is because we don't want allergies to hold people back. We want them to be able to do whatever they want. And oral immunotherapy is an awesome treatment, but then it might make people feel limited in what they can do. So I think it's really empowering that they know that it is possible to do, but it does take a lot of planning. So all three of us have a lot of experience with oral immunotherapy and are we great resources for you if you are ready to take that step. But that's a big step, right? Food allergy wise, oral immunotherapy out in the middle of the ocean, that's a huge step. So for some families, they haven't ever gone on a cruise with their food allergy. Just having a food allergy in the ocean is really intimidating. And I think we can help empower you to do that. But Charity, why don't you tell us about your first cruise with food allergies?
Yeah, so taking the plunge just to go to Disney World was a huge step for us back in the day. And I remember seeing Lizzie's photo book of her taking her daughter to Disney World and wondering how that could even happen and taking our whole suitcase of food to Disney World with us and insisting that she book us a villa that had a full kitchen. And she said, okay, if that's what you really want, that's what I'll book for you. And so we had our full kitchen that we didn't use and our whole suitcase full of food that we didn't use. And we cried all the happy tears at all the meals and, came home with everything that we took. And I also remember seeing all of her cruise pictures too and thinking if she could do that with her daughter that had these food allergies that we were dealing with, especially the dairy allergy. I don't want to say especially, but for us, that was the one that seemed so limiting as far as eating out. And uh, that's the one that was really hard for us, even though we dealt with peanut allergy and tree nut allergies and sesame and egg and different ones. Okay, I think we can do this. When I just saw how beautifully the Disney chefs were trained and took care of our family. So after that is when I thought, let's go ahead and take this leap of faith. And so we went ahead and booked a cruise. And the one that worked best for us over spring break was a 7-night cruise. So we just went all in. We didn't do the 3-night, we didn't do the 4-night, even the 5-night. We just went all in on the 7-night cruise. And just having that faith in the experience that we had at Disney World. I did take some things for us as far as my one son's favorite salad dressings and a couple different things, which we actually didn't need any of that. I didn't need any of that either because they took such good care of us. We did take some factory sealed foods for our port days. So that was something that we did do and that we do recommend for food allergy families to have some things to take off the ships. And we could talk more about that at another time. But as far as being taken care of on the ships, they take phenomenal care of our families. And the lovely thing about Disney Cruise Line is that you really talk through everything the first night that you're on the ship with the serving team that's going to take care of you. And I don't want to say that's the last time you have to talk about it, because if you're eating at kind of the poolside eateries and such, you talk through with the head servers at those areas, but the team that's going to take care of you for dinner each night and pre-order your breakfast for the next day and even the lunches and such, you really only have to talk through everything at that very first meal, and they take care of you the rest of your cruise. So we got on the ship, that our very first experience, and met our server, talk through everything. All three kids, and my husband deals with food allergies, and talk through everything with them. That first meal that night took a while because then they have to go, but like a normal meal that you do at Walt Disney World or at restaurants or anything like that. It took a little while. But then after that, at the end of that meal, they asked what you want for breakfast the next day. And you could have pre-ordered lunch and you pre-ordered dinner. After that, the kids didn't have to sit there and say, I have a peanut allergy. I'm allergic to tree nuts. I'm allergic to sunflower seeds and sesame and dairy. They don't have to say that again. Their wish is their command. They'd say, what would you like? And tell me what you want. And just the sky's the limit. And they would encourage them to order 2 entrees for dinner the next day, something new that they've never had before, and then something they know they'll like. So in case they don't like that new dinner that they're trying, they know they have something to fall back on. And it wasn't simple foods. It was like extravagant meals. And I don't know that they ever told them no. I don't know if they ever told them that something wasn't possible. In all of the cruises that we've done, they would just say yes, and just write down what they wanted and just create whatever it was that they said they wanted. And it's just amazing. It's just phenomenal how they take care of the families. My one son, when he was only about 70 pounds, gained 10 pounds on a 7-night cruise. So, I mean, I could just go on, but that's just kind of the start of how well they take care of you. We had the same server on our first cruise. We went back a year later. He happened to be on the ship we were on, and he saw the kids. And you know how I said you only really had to talk through your allergies that very first night. So the kids didn't have to say over and over and over again what they were allergic to. They were just taken care of. We showed back up a year later, spring break, on the next cruise, and he saw the kids, and this was before COVID, and he just like hugged them, and he's like, oh, my lovely family. And he just hugged them, and he said, can you just remind me, what were the food allergies again? Like, as if he remembered. It was like right there on the tip of his tongue, but he just needed a little reminder. And then that was it, So it's just so beautiful how they take care of the families. And
It truly is. They're so incredibly special. They are. I get these beautiful letters, and I'm sure both of you guys will. In Charity, you've been doing this a little bit longer, so maybe you have gotten letters from food allergy families, but you can hear them crying when they write the letters, like I'm crying now.
I know when we got off that first cruise, we were going through customs, and my youngest especially, I have a picture. It's just heartbreaking because he just started sobbing, like sad sobbing, because he realized he was about maybe 8 or 9, somewhere around there. But the heartbreak when he realized he was going back into reality where life wasn't like that. It
Real.
was
It's real.
heartbreaking. Yeah.
For us. I mean, these kids, and that's why I have some families that they book you were one of them. They book a Disney cruise every summer. They don't go to different vacations. They don't go on, they might have to change things, but they make sure they go on a 3-night, a 5-night, or a 7-night Disney cruise every year. I have people that are now knocking on Pearl's door. That's how many cruises they've been on, which is, 25 cruises. And then some people, maybe go on one and they can't afford to ever go on another one, but they had that great experience. Anyway, it's really beautiful. And like you were talking about the server, I know exactly what server that is because I think I requested him for your second time that you went. And I have gotten to the point where I message a bunch of servers and they message me back. They let me know what ship there's going to be on. If they can't make the ship or if they've gone to another ship, we try to keep in touch with them. And the two of you guys will be doing the same thing. And there's other Platinum Mouse agents that do that as well. It's it's a connection that we make that is absolutely incredibly beautiful. We don't share their names publicly for several reasons. We don't want people going on there, first of all, not taking care of them. Um, and we also don't want people going on and requesting these servers if they don't know what ships they're on. And then Disney Cruise Line frantically trying to find someone named Lena, and they can't find her, or other names. I'm not going to mention everybody's names. But anyway, we spend collectively tens of thousands of dollars to find these servers, and we take care of them. They take care of our clients. So it's very much a very personal thing. And that's why I try not to give major shout outs with their names publicly. They'll have their pictures and stuff like that. And they get shouts out from Disney. And if you've noticed this charity, everybody that you've had as servers, they end up going up the ranks. They're all head servers now. Like the people you were talking about that used to wait on you and probably, or serve your table, and for other years, other people, they're all head servers now. And so it's really beautiful because Disney listens to that. Because when we fill out those little comment cards, I know you did. I fill them out. I tell them how beautiful. I mean, you could probably see the tear stains on. Like I'm going, my gosh, this is so fantastic. Um, and Disney reads those comment cards. Like they really do. They take those in account. And it's just a beautiful thing.
Yeah, I think the relationship with the main rotating main dining room servers is amazing. This summer I went on a 10-night cruise with my son's friend, so a child who's allergic to peanut and tree nut without his parents. So they were with an allergist and an ER doctor, but that's still scary, and you have to put a lot of faith to send your kids away on a cruise with that. And our main dining room server was his friend and his ally, and it was great. But I also think it's good to mention like what happens when you're not near them. So if you go to the buffet or eat on the pool deck, when you go to one of the private islands like Lookout or Castaway, how they are still helping. So you can pre-order your lunch for the private islands, and then it'll be ready for you. They'll have a little slip with your name, and then all your food will be safe. And then how do you guys navigate Marceline Market and Cabanas with food allergy?
So we personally, the kids don't do the buffet. I know people do. They actually prefer the little kind of quick service areas at the pool deck. And then it's easy though. They find a head server. They're always available. Even when Will was about 8 or so, he'd just go up and ask for one, and they'd fill out, they have little pink slips, and just on the spot, let them know what they want. It doesn't take that long, 10 minutes or so, maybe 15 minutes, however long, it would normally take just to make fresh food, fry some fries, or, cook a hamburger, or throw a little pizza in the oven. But they send it back to kind of a central area. They make it in a different area. They'll call back to the chefs back there and bring out fresh food. And so then you always get really fresh, nice food. But it's just talking to a head server. So that's what they prefer. I know other people will manage in the buffets, but that's what they prefer, and
Same
it's
thing with the
easy.
buffet too. The buffet, if you go to Marsley Market or Cabanas, you'll ask for a head server, and they're all right there. And so even if you didn't know what a head server was, let's say you just went on a Disney cruise and you had no idea what you were doing, you would just say, we have food allergies. And they're going to bring you a head server. He's going to have that pink pad of paper. He's going to write down your allergies. He's going to write down what you want. And you're not going to eat off the buffet. And he's going to go in the back, give it the slip to a chef, and then the chef makes it, and then they bring it directly to you. So it doesn't sit under the lamps, either locations. It never does. It goes directly to your family out by the pool, or in the restaurant itself. It's really nice because, like you said, if you're sitting out by the pool and you want something, your kids just want French fries or chicken nuggets. It's baby steps to do this. But Charlotte, my daughter, who's 20 now, I think the first time she did this, she was about 13. And I let her go up there by herself and say, I have allergies. And they go, oh, let me get a server for you. So he came over. She told him she wanted chicken nuggets and French fries. And her allergies there was dairy, peanut, and tree nut. And he brought it to us. And I said, Charlotte, did you tell them everything? And the guy was looking at me, he goes, this is exactly what she ordered. And he showed me, this is before they would give the slips, and they don't give the slips anymore. They used to have the slips, but now there's a whole paper trail. So it stays with the chef. And I was like, oh, this is beautiful. And so then I got comfortable. The next time we sailed, she actually went down by herself. And this was huge for me. She went down by her. I'm going to go down to Cabanas. And I go, oh, I'll go with you. She goes, no, Mama, it's okay. I can go by myself. And I'm like, and I think at this time she was probably 14. She went down, she ordered it, she brought it back to the room. And I'm telling y'all, it was just beautiful. It was like really life changing, that she
Yeah.
could go, because she couldn't go anywhere else and do that. She could, not that we want to eat McDonald's, but that's most Americans do eat McDonald's. She could
Yeah.
never go in there and order something. She had anaphylaxis at McDonald's when she was 2 years old, because I wanted her to to be able to have a French fry, and I didn't know they had dairy and they didn't have labeling back then. Anyway, long
Yeah.
story short, it's a beautiful way to do baby steps, and I'm sure you've seen that with your kids as well, Charity.
Yeah. It's a great way to advocate and learn to talk to people who they know will take care of them and learn how to speak up and order for themselves. And I think that's where they did learn a lot of those skills.
Right,
Yeah, it's
and
a
they're
safe place for them
kind.
to kinda test the waters and try to be independent, and kind of
Yeah.
like that idea of healthcare transition where they have to start to be able to take care of their own health conditions without mom or dad. So doing it in a safe place where they can practice ordering, and advocate for themselves is really a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and I think getting comfortable too, yeah, and having those good experiences.
Right, it's the good experiences. It's not someone rolling their eyes at you saying, "Oh my god, what do you eat with a dairy allergy?" I can't tell
Yeah.
you. My
And then
daughter
around
went
the
there for
fantasy this
years.
summer, they were trialing the pager system too at the quick service restaurants by the pool. So after our friend would order, they would give us a pager, and then he wouldn't even have to wait. You could just go back to your seat, and then you would know when your food was ready.
Nice.
So now if we've encouraged people to actually board the ship and be confident. When you get on board, people like to snack. So, what are your favorite Disney Cruise Line snacks?
There you go, Charity. You're snackers.
Yeah. So, my one son would say French fries all day, every day. That's all he needs is French fries, French fries, French fries, and they're always available, it seems. So, poolside, and I know some people won't do the room service, but when he could do shared fryers, he would even do the room service, which were like really excellent fries too. But when we weren't doing shared fryers, he could just anytime go up to the poolside and ask for the head server and get French fries, and they would just bring him, a whole plate of French fries. So that was his favorite snack. Ice cream is always available, so that's probably the runner up for everyone. So there's soft serve for my kids who aren't dairy allergic, but peanut, tree nut, egg, sesame, sunflower seeds for those allergies I know offhand. And so just not dairy allergy for the top nine. The soft serve with ice cream cones are usually safe for those. And that's available all the time on the pool deck. So that's a big favorite. And then my son that does have the dairy allergy, he can ask a head server up on the pool deck at any time for dairy-free ice cream, and they will always happily oblige and go grab some So Delicious ice cream, ask him what flavor he wants, or some sorbet, and bring out ice cream cones and get that for him anytime he wants, or bring a whole carton and he'd take it back to the room. So ice cream is always readily available. So that's probably um, the favorite treat, to be honest, the snack. So
Charlotte might get So Delicious ice cream sometimes. There's a really cute little Bing Bong cup that you can get on some of the ships that has the ice cream shops. You just have to look and see. One time I bought one, and she was like 19 at the time. I bought it, I cleaned it out, Adam put So Delicious ice cream in it, brought it to her, and she flipped out. She thought it was the most amazing thing ever. So that's kind of a cute little hack. But we don't we don't snack a whole lot. We just don't. I mean,
so I
That's
have
nice.
a
You don't
I
gain weight
had
on
the
your
ear
cruise.
of a Mickey bar one time in my life.
so that's a good reminder that you can get Mickey bars through room service. So for anyone that can do Mickey bars safely, They're on the room service menu for free that you can order 24 hours a day. So that's something good to remember, right? Is that right, Kelly?
You
Yes.
Oh, do you
can
get
get
them
them, yeah.
24 hours
Even
a
more
day?
free ice cream. So much free ice cream 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
And then one other thing that just came to mind, that's really good with food allergies is that there are, I feel like all the time, Lay's, plain Lay's, and barbecue
Yes.
Lay's all over the ship. The bar areas in particular, is that right? Like the pool bar areas and wherever they have the sandwiches in the kind of pool quick service areas, you can usually find plain Lays and barbecue Lays. And so that is something that whenever I'd see them, I'd go ask for a few bags and I'd take them back to the room and I'd put them in the little shelf areas in the room. And so they were always there for the kids to kind of grab on the go. So they'd always have kind of a safe snack that was available. And then we'd use those on port days to take off the ship as well, because when you go off, I kind of mentioned when you go off the ship, everything has to be factory sealed. And so those were good snacks to take off the ship too. But the kids really like that, even though they're not super exciting, they're just good, safe staples. So those were always available, except for sometimes when you're actually import, those places won't be open. So make sure you grab them when you see them. So I'd always ask for a few bags and just, I don't know,
They're
take as
always
many
at
as I could
Castaway
back to the
too.
room.
Yeah, they're always at both of the islands.
Yeah. Castaway is great. Kelly mentioned that you pre-order the food if you have food allergies. So there's a safe meal there for you, which is amazing. And then I remember our first day there just being blown away because there was fresh safe fruit, the plain Lays, the barbecue Lays. I forget what else was there that I just was so happy. Just all the safe stuff. There was the safe ice cream for the kids. There was safe snow cones, the soda, and then we already pre-ordered the safe Sodalicious, and they had safe cookies, and I just thought it was the most magical safe island in the whole world. So
100%.
So
Well, do
speaking
we
of
have any?
Castaway, I think a week from today, the three of us will be there as part of the Treasure Preview Cruise. Um, and none of us are flying down the day of the cruise. We never recommend flying down the day of the cruise. If there's a travel delay, you'll start off with a stressful way to start your trip. So we usually go at least the night before. So that leads into the last part of this episode. Or what are some things you like to do before and after your cruise? And I wanted to start off by giving one other little piece of news. Starting in 2025, for all of 2025, anyone staying at a Walt Disney Resort gets a free admission to a Disney water park on the day of check-in. So it's only good for the day of check-in, but if you're only staying one day before your cruise, that gives you a really fun free activity for your family, and you're eating in the safety of the well-trained Walt Disney World chefs. I have a client going soon in January, and it's really easy. You just show up with your magic band or key to the world card, and if they know that you're a Disney resort guest and it's your check-in day, you're automatically let in free. You don't have to make reservations or call ahead or anything. So that'll be something to add to a pre-cruise day. But what are some other things you guys like to do on the day before your cruise?
So, one of our favorite things to do pre-cruise is we do love to stay, if we're cruising out of Port Canaveral, is stay on property at Walt Disney World. Just if we're going that far, get in that Disney magic where the chefs can take care of us. And Port Orleans is a favorite resort of ours because it's a boat ride away from Disney Springs. And so usually we're arriving the day early, we'll get checked in, we'll take the boat over to Disney Springs. We have our favorite restaurant over there, which is actually Frontera Casina for our family. And then we hit Aaron McKenna's Bakery. That's one of our favorites, and do a little shopping. And then for breakfast the next morning, our favorite breakfast pre-cruise is the beignets at the Scat Cat Lounge, I guess, is where we find that. Is that what that's considered? But that's our favorite pre-cruise routine. And then one time we were lucky enough to hit a very merry Christmas party the night prior. So if we're lucky enough for something like that, but usually we're just kind of getting in and getting settled. But that's our favorite resort. We like the pool there, and we like to hit Disney Springs, just kind of get some of our favorite food. But staying on property, just the nice pool, the good food, that's our favorite thing to do.
I like to go in and see the chefs the night before usually, or 2 nights before, or if there's a party going on, we'll go to the party either before or after. Like this time, we go on the treasure next week. We will go to the Christmas party the night after, well, the night of the day we disembark. So I kind of like to do that and take pictures and get all sorts of information to better help clients, even though it's really kind of close to Christmas, but it's really for fun. I haven't ridden a ride at Disney World, maybe 3 years, something like that. Maybe
Really?
when we did the VIP party, it's the last time I rode a ride, and that was a year ago. No, I usually go, and I just get. I mean, I used to go every month for 14 years, and I just go get information from chefs and stuff. But I looked at my daughter and I said, "Do you want to go to the Christmas party?" She's like, "Yeah, Mama." So we're going to go do that, which is really going to be fun. Um, but like Charity said, it's really nice to stay at Disney before or after because you've got those amazing Disney food allergy trained chefs that will take care of you. You can have a dinner the night before. The morning you wake up, have a good breakfast. And quick service, even if you want. You just talk to that Disney chef and then you go to the ship and you get on board. Um, so it's really nice. Uh, that's pretty much it before and after for us. It's either the part before or at the end. This time it's both times, but anyway, that's
I
it.
think if you don't have park tickets, Animal Kingdom Lodge is a fun one to stay at too, because in addition to that great pool, you can see the animals and you can use night vision goggles. It's a lot of fun activities for the family without splurging on a park ticket.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
that's a great
that's a
idea.
whole vacation in itself. Is that resort? That's an
Yes.
amazing resort. So, from all three of us, we want to say thank you so much for listening. And please send us questions, things you want us to talk about, topics you want to explore, and we will try our very best to do them. Um, and we will see you on the treasure next week. See you real soon.
See you
See
real
you real
soon.
soon.
Bye. Please don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review our podcast. And please join the Disney Food Allergy Magic Group on Facebook.
This podcast is not intended to provide any individual medical advice to our listeners. We do hope that our conversations provide evidence based information and help you prepare for allergy safe travel. Any questions pertaining to one's own health should always be discussed with their personal physician.
And remember, while we aim to provide useful information, our opinions are our own and not affiliated with Disney, Walt Disney World, Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, Adventures by Disney, any Disney company, any Universal Studios company, Sandals and Beaches, or any other travel location that we discuss on this podcast. See you real soon.